Hey, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know this is the official podcast of GeoWoodstock 18 right here in the great Pacific Northwest. You know what I'm going to say? It's Thursday night at 9 p.m. And I'm Chris of the Northwest, and we're here to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the world. So while you're practicing to throw out the first pitch, we'll be caching in the Northwest. And tonight, with Outwit's End once again, we're going to be talking a little bit about cache maintenance. So live audience, share your thoughts. And the only way to unmute the monkey is to introduce him. Some say he still rocks a members only jacket. Folks, that's a jacket from the 80s in case you didn't know it. And others say he's so sweet he should come with a shot of insulin. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Hello. It's good to be back here with you, my friend Chris. Hopefully it's a good evening for you. We're, of course, missing our good friend Jim, but maybe he'll be back next week.
Maybe.
We can always
it's
hope.
not the same without Wits End here, but, we'll make do.
That's right. Those are all true things. Well, hey, before we get any further, let's throw out our quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons who help to keep this podcast coming each and every week. And a thanks to Land Sharks, one of our corporate Denali level sponsors. As we shared last week, Chris and Helen are so pleased to have seen so many new geocachers in the Sharks store this summer and have had a blast helping them with their geocaching experience. So whether you're new to the game or an old hand, check out Landsharks with a Z.ca for all your geocaching needs. And of course, our other corporate Denali level sponsor, well, that's Gold Country Geotourism. They want to remind you to plan for your adventures, know before you go. Oh, look at that. Well done. Well played, Chris. For those listening to the audio version, Chris is holding the Gold Country logo in his hands.
It's a lot harder than it looks.
It's pretty tricky stuff. All right. Well, yes, Gold Country Geotourism wants you to know before you go. They want you to come and visit and experience the amazing geocaching in Gold Country. Check them out, exploregoldcountry.com, and on Facebook, facebook.com/exploregoldcountry. All you really need to know is Explore Gold Country.
Just wherever you can type that in, type it in.
Just keep typing it over and over and over again.
That's right.
Well, folks, if you want to know more about supporting this show, click that Patreon link on the cachingandw.com, a website.
Iham says, it's a FATAS. Sorry, I'm breaking in early.
Breaking FATAS?
Let's just jump right to FATAS. Let's jump right to the episode.
Why not?
What do we got to lose? He says, anyone see Jeopardy tonight? What is geocaching was one of the responses.
There you go.
Okay.
And the question was, what does Chris of the Northwest do when he's not working?
Yeah, that's it. Sometimes while I'm working, but don't tell anyone. Okay. No. Now, when you're working from home, you can't go geocache. Well, you can, but I mean, geocaching just isn't the same, right? Because I've already cleaned out my area.
Yeah. It's a longer commute. Now you have to commute to geocache.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Right. Hey, folks, it's time. You know what I should do?
No, what should you do?
It's time for the glow.
Okay, well, I'll just
sit back.
I'll just sit back
next to the fire and listen to the glow. What is the glow? It's not the glow from the fire, but it's the geocaching log of the week. So whether you read it or whether you wrote it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. Send an email or a recording to feedback@cachingandw.com. You can call into 253-693-TFTC and tell us how you glow. Now, this week's glow comes from Ari 54321. Who found Valley View. That's GC299. Now, if you've been a geocacher for a while, that's a pretty low number. He starts off with 323 of the streak. Today, Love and I planned a caching day around attending 2 community celebration events, one at Snoqualmie Pass and one in Leavenworth. In between, we targeted a few caches of interest in and around Wenatchee and Leavenworth. Our main targets were Valley View and a 5-5 near Leavenworth, with a challenge cache, letterbox, and a few other caches thrown in. We enjoyed lots of amazing views, waded across the river, met lots of geocachers, and more. We ended the day in Yakima, ready to start tomorrow's adventure to Rainier. This was my main target of the day. I had it on my list for a while, but I've never gotten over this way to find it. When I heard about the fire that happened here, I was worried about this cache, but no fear. The cache survived, and it even has battle scars to prove it. We drove as close as we could and made the short walk over to the cache, where it was an instant find. I mean, how could you miss this one? Glad to have another one done in the Washington History Challenge. And the view here is amazing. Thanks for keeping this epic cache alive. So there you go, folks. Let me bring Land Monkey back in. Land Monkey, we're back on. It's up to you now.
Oh, I need to remove my finger from my nose now.
Oh, so there you go. A glow from Ari. 54321.
Excellent. Thank you, Ari, for sending that in. Sounds like a great adventure that you had with Love. I think you guys would be fun to do a road trip with.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put that on the bucket list.
Oh, he's in the show tonight. He says, so weird to hear my log read out.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sending
the honor in one of 2 proper spellings.
Both proper spellings there, really. So, well done. Well played. Very cool. Well, hey, folks, if you want to contribute to tonight's show, just use hashtag RIGHT, RIGHT, or you could do hashtag WRITE, but I don't know. You know, Chat Lackey can be kind of picky sometimes. So you may
WRIGHT?
You could do that, or RITE if you're talking about a particular pharmacy in the US.
We're getting a waggling finger from the chat lackey.
With the spell it right, or I'm not gonna.
Yes.
Yeah, nods. All right, we're getting nods and thumbs up from the backstage here. All right, so RIGHT. You know what? You know what? Just do whatever you want. Really, just give it, contribute to the show. We'd love to hear. You know what though? I made a decision before the show even started, Chris, and I'm gonna share it with you right now publicly. I promise you, Chris of the Northwest, that I will drastically minimize how much I pick on you tonight compared to last week.
Okay. That's pretty easy.
It is, because that was pretty much the whole show last week was me picking
exactly.
on you. So this week, I'm going to be nice to you. So the idea for tonight's podcast, which is as Chris titled it, "Do the Right Thing," and we're gonna talk about cache maintenance. But before we get into that, there was an interesting little story that might generate some feedback and content from our awesome listeners, you guys there in the chat, and those who are listening to the podcast after the fact. And it's from the geocaching blog. That's blog.geocaching.com. And the title was, "Could You Be a Better Hider?" And when I read that, in my mind, I heard Chandler from Friends. Could you be a better hider? So,
I haven't watched that much Friends that I can hear their voices in my head.
Now,
it's just Seinfeld.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know. It just came across as sarcasm to me. Could you be a better hider? All right. Well, let's see what they have to say. Shall we read on?
Oh, would you please?
All right. Well, they say that being a better hider begins long before Lucky Geocacher claims an FTF on your brand new geocache. It even begins before you submit your freshly hidden geocache review. Some geocachers have had years to perfect their geocaches, while others are just starting out, just finding their way. Whether you're currently a cache owner or a future one, here are 4 quick pointers to be a better hider. Chris, do you want to take the first one?
I would sure love to.
Please do.
Okay. The first one is access granted. Now, I have to say, I grabbed this article after I already determined what the subject for the show is. So, the way I'm thinking, the way geocaching.com is thinking just meshes. It meshes quite often. So I wish they would stop copying is what I'm saying. Okay. The first point is access granted. Make sure to get permission from the landowner or manager before placing a geocache. Even some public locations require permission. You think you can just toss it in a park? Not necessarily. This step will help offer a great experience to geocachers without them feeling unwelcome about looking for the cache at that location. It also alerts the landowner that people may be coming in the area to look for it, and they should not be concerned.
The cachers or the landowner?
Both.
Either.
But I'm thinking landowner. Yeah.
Oh, too funny. Too funny. Too funny. Hey, that reminds me of what we should probably have as a topic for a future show, which is caches placed on or near residences with permission. Those just, man.
Front yard caches.
Front yard caches. I struggle with those. I
do
really do. I know I'm technically allowed to be here. That's what it says. But man, those fishbowl caches, I'm telling you.
I don't like it. Here you go. It's kind of like what Keats is doing. He says, I'm watching a podcast, geocaching podcast, but I'm facing away from prying eyes.
There you go.
Right. So I'm going to find a cache on the front porch, but I'm trying to look like I'm not going to the front porch.
Look all cache. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, hey, the next, I guess, related to this next topic is location, location, location. The old real estate quote. What are the 3 most important things in real estate? Have money, have money, have money. There you go. Right. All right. The GPS coordinates are what guide geocachers to a geocache. So it's no surprise that retrieving accurate GPS coordinates while placing your cache hide is important. You should double, even triple, check your coordinates before submitting your geocache for publication, so geocachers are set up for success when they go searching for it.
The next point, or the third point, if you're counting at home, make sure you're counting on your fingers. This is number 3.
Assuming you have
all
3
weather,
fingers.
All the time. Do your best to ensure the cache and logbook are weatherproof. We're going to talk about more about that in a bit. And they go on to say a soggy loggy sheet. I tossed in the loggy, but a soggy log sheet can dampen the joy of geocaching. You can see some examples of great geocache containers on their Instagram account and gain some inspiration for ways to up-level your existing hides or gather ideas for protecting future geocaches from the elements. And if you're in Africa, that could be the elephants.
Yeah. The elephants are the elements. Up-level. I'm not sure if I've heard that term before.
Yeah.
I know I've heard level up, but I haven't heard up-level. I'm not picking on you because you didn't write it.
I did not write this.
No, it's just
I copied this directly from the blog.
There we go.
With, some edits.
All right.
Yeah, there's some things we don't need to talk about.
Fair enough. Well, let's talk about the 4th point and the 4th and final point. And if you're playing at home, that's number 4. All right. And that is to make a lasting impression. So place the geocache in a spot you would like people to visit. Ask yourself, would I show my favorite person in the world this geocache? Is the geocache placed at a scenic overlook? Does it reveal a hidden history? Or is the finding experience itself creative? Well, you know what? Those are all great ideas and great points. So, it's about putting it in a place where when somebody visits, there's a reason. I think that's what they actually say in the geocaching guidelines. It's, bring people to a place where there would be a reason to go, even if there wasn't a geocache. Well,
let's pause for a moment.
Okay.
Because Brian Lang says, I'm gonna go hide some NRV caches. No redeeming value. Now that's the last cache I found was a no redeeming value cache.
You
right?
know, there can be some like that, but even LPCs can have a redeeming value. I probably shared about this on a recent episode, but I was over in Victoria, Mrs. Monkey and I, a couple of months back, and we were doing some urban caching just because we were driving around, and we had stopped at a mall to pick up some food or something. I can't even remember why we were there, but there was an LPC at the mall. So we're like, well, we're here. We may as well grab it. It's like, whatever. I guess it counts as another find. But it was awesome. The cache owner had been really creative with it. They did something really fun with it, and it totally made it worthwhile. And I gave it a favorite point because they were innovative and creative with an LPC. So, even an LPC can be fun. It made a lasting impression. So there you go.
Now, aren't all Canadians required to go to the mall? I mean, I know they wrote songs about it.
A Song.
Okay.
By Robin Sparkles. That's right.
Yeah. Sorry,
Great
I couldn't
Canadian
resist.
pop star Robin Sparkles.
Yes. Did she have a members only jacket?
Oh,
I bet she did.
Yeah, and a bedazzled jean jacket.
Because that's when it came to Canada.
A bedazzled Canadian tuxedo. All right.
Trexer says LPCs are scarce in Canada versus the US, I find.
I think that's reasonable. I see them much more often in the US than I do up here, but I guess maybe that's also where we live up here.
And LPCs could be streak fillers.
They can. So there's a redeeming value there, I suppose, for certain individuals. All right.
Oh, it's my turn, isn't it?
Yeah.
Make a lasting impression. Now,
nope, I just read that.
That's what you just did.
I did.
Oh, and we're done. It was 4.
The end.
Yeah. Sorry. I thought there was 5. I thought you were waiting for me, and I just didn't know.
Well, I was waiting for you. I didn't know where you wanted to go next with this whole story. So,
let's see. Keats94 had a really good point on a cache maintenance tip. His tip is don't hide too many caches unless you can maintain them all. Young Keats94 needed to learn that from the get-go.
I think many of us do. That's all right. As long as you learn your lesson.
He refers to himself as young Keats94.
Well, that, or maybe there's another Keats94 who's younger than he and is called young Keats94.
Oh, yeah. Huh. Hey,
what?
The reason I wanted to talk about cache hides and doing maintenance is, I don't know if you've noticed, but we've just changed seasons. Yes, we hit the fall equinox. And now...
Did everything all equalize out?
No, it fell.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. But this is the early fall, just before it turns into autumn, which I think is quite nice.
Isn't fall and autumn the same thing?
So anyway, I wanted to talk about cache maintenance.
Okay.
Thanks, Brylang, for sharing the Robin Sparkles video. Maybe we should just stop and all.
I think we just lost all of our live viewers.
They all just went to the mall.
They all went to the YouTubes. All right. What's up?
So change of seasons makes me think of cache maintenance. It's time to check to see if your caches are watertight for that upcoming deluge of rain we're going to get here in the Northwest.
In the PNW, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good point. It's always good to have some sort of prompter to remind you that you should be doing some sort of prompter other than the reviewer notifying you that it's time to go and do some maintenance on your caches. And seasonal changes is a really good one. As you said, Chris, that as we move from the summer into the fall, certainly up here in the PNW, but many places, the weather is going to change. And up here it's going to go from nice and hot and dry into lots and lots of wet. If you go to the southern hemisphere, it's going to do the inverse. And so, it's time to check your caches there as well. But yeah, I think that's really good advice. It's a good way to kind of have a reminder for yourself.
That's right. So go out there, check it. The log's going to be dry right now if you're in the Pacific Northwest, Pacific
Yeah.
normally wet.
The wet
That's
coast.
what PNW stands for, right? Yeah, wet coaster there. But see if it's full, right? People have been out with the summer doing more geocaching and it's on Jeopardy, so everybody's going to go out and try geocaching now because that's what Jeopardy people like to do, obviously. So get out there, check to see if the log's full, because not everybody tells you, hey, the log's full.
That's true.
And they may just take a picture and say, hey, I took a picture and I can prove that I found it. Well, go out and change the log yourself. Okay, just go out and do it. And now's the time to get some of that Right in the Rain paper, replace it with that. Make sure your cache container is in good shape, right? It's been hot. We've had some good heat this summer. Make sure the container's not misshapen. If it is, you need a better container to start with. Make sure that the lid seals properly, right? That O-ring, whatever you have sealing water out, may have dried out over the summer. Go and check it. That's what I'm saying. Make sure the lid's not cracked. Container's not cracked.
All sounds like good advice. Good advice.
Replace those little Ziploc bags.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the little zippy bags. So is that, as we're talking about doing the cache maintenance, is that something that you carry around with you, or spare logs and spare zippy bags?
I try to carry spare logs with me. I tend to keep them in the glove box of my car, right? Which it's a terrible idea because I don't have them when I need them. And then I walk back to the car and it's like, I don't have the right size anyway, right? I have nanos, or I have, 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. I tend not to have anything in between because I've used them up, right? So I have to go back and get some more of those. You can go buy a Right in the Rain logbook. As I said on Geo Gearheads earlier, go get a logbook and a pair of scissors and keep it in your car. Then you can cut the exact size you need to fit. And
well, that's good if you're doing sort of parking grab style caching. Mm-hmm. But if you're out for a big hike, then maybe something to consider adding to your pack, as well as your essentials, would be a few spare log sheets.
That's right, and they're light; they're easy to carry. Now the little zip top bags, that's tough for me. I never have the right size. So
yeah,
I'm thinking maybe I should. Brylang, and this comes from Brylang. You know Brylang. You've heard of Brylang. What Brylang says goes. He says, ditch the little Ziploc bags. They don't last, and the log just gets wet anyway.
Interesting. Well, if you're using Right in the Rain paper, then it's certainly less of an issue. That's for sure.
And I always feel bad because they tend to seal tight, and you pull and did I rip? Or was it already ripped, or did I just rip it?
Did I do that?
Yeah, did I do that? So Chris, Kitty Quest is always ready.
There you go. She says, I always have a few blank logs and zippies in my pocket. Good for her.
So Chris, let's just go caching with her then.
Yeah, that seems to solve the problem. If you do replace a log for somebody, so if you come across a cache and the log is either, and I guess maybe two different scenarios, and you might do different things in different scenarios, but you've come across a cache and for whatever reason you feel you need to replace the log. So maybe one scenario, the log is full, but a different scenario, the log is mush or somehow destroyed. So two kind of different scenarios. Either of those scenarios, what do you do with the old log?
So if I put in a replacement log and the old log no longer fits in the container, I'll take the log out. If it's damp or if I can salvage it in some way, I tend to put it on the dashboard of my car as I'm driving around and let it dry out. Now, I always put in the log, in the online log, that, hey, cache owner, I have the old logbook from this cache. If you want it back, contact me, I could always, now
Have
with
you
the
ever been
messenger,
contacted?
never,
Okay.
not once, not a single time. I now with the messenger, I take a picture of it and send it to them. But, I'm not going to just take it and throw it away, even though I've never been contacted. Now, wow, now that you say that, now I think about it, I'm a putz, aren't I? I'm going to hold on to this for you.
You're not a putz. You're a very thoughtful geocacher who wants to try and do the right thing. How's that?
Okay, thank you.
See how hard it is for me to be nice to you?
Yeah.
See
I
how
set
hard I'm
you up
working at
for
it tonight?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hmm.
I don't
See
think I'm
how
going to do this again next week. This is too much work.
I'm having trouble paying my mortgage.
What?
Come on, be nice to me, Land Monkey. Pay my mortgage for me.
Oh, okay. That was a bit of a leap. I wasn't quite following that one. All
Come
right.
on. Be nice
no,
to
you're
me.
on
Pay
your
my
own, buddy.
mortgage.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No? Okay.
No. All right. So we figured out what some of your advice of what you do with old logs, and so if they're mushy, if they're like just mush, just toss them.
That I tend, if they're that bad, it's time to change the container. Right? There's something wrong there.
Oh, I see your point, but I mean, okay, but if it's not your cache, if you're visiting somebody else's cache, you're not going to change their container for them, are you?
It depends. Is it a little, magnetic nano that doesn't have a O-ring? Maybe not.
Do you carry replacement magnetic nanos and or O-rings, and you would actually do field maintenance for somebody else? Really?
Yeah, that's been done for me. So yes, I'll do it for others.
Wow. All right.
Okay. Wet Coaster says, I've gotten
Yes.
a couple of replies from COs. They have never wanted the old full log back.
I think the only scenario where somebody might want that is if it's like a really old cache where the log is actually a book where people would actually use to write things other than just their name and the date.
Mm-hmm.
That might be pretty interesting to hold on to that. That's the only scenario I can think of where you'd want to actually keep a log.
So there's more. I mean, this goes on from other people, right? So kitty cat.
Meow.
Now I've forgotten the name.
Kitty Quest.
Kitty Quest. Thank you. I just got that stuck in my head and I couldn't go anywhere. I get blocked. Thank you for being nice, Land Monkey. You're such a good Canadian. Oh, he's out of focus. There he goes.
So far, so good.
Says I do the same, contacting the CO to let them know I have it. And I have been contacted a few times, but nobody has ever actually wanted it back. They have said, thank you. So there you go. Now, if it's mush, there's nothing you can do to save it. You can't reconstitute that. It's gone. Throw it away. Somebody said, there it is. If it's mush, compost it.
There you go. Composte.
Composte. That's Italian.
It is.
I use it to compost.
Very cool. All right. So
I have to go back.
Please do.
CRS98 says, if you use Ziploc bags, don't buy the grocery store bags. Buy the correct size ones online. I use 8 mil bags, which are much thicker than standard.
Interesting.
There you go. So, do the right thing like CRS98 does.
Indeed. And if you jump down, CRS98 was actually talking about replacement O-rings and such as well.
You can actually buy huge quantities, like 100 of O-rings for cheap online. It isn't hard. Right. You can get I'd go buy a variety pack and you'll find you'll use about 3 of the sizes and then go replace those 3 sizes.
Yeah, well, I mean, cache containers generally will come in some consistent sizes, I would think. Most of them.
And they're somewhat elastic, so you can stretch one to fit if you need in the short term.
There you go. Well, Look at you guys being nice to everybody. That's awesome. Now, we talked a little bit about the containers themselves. So if a container is cracked or damaged, and whether you'd replace it, and you've suggested, Chris, that you have from time to time.
Mhm.
But Trexer shared something interesting in the chat. Do you want to pull that up?
This one?
That's the one where Trexer
Ugh,
says
community maintenance. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Where Trexer says, "Ugh, community maintenance, keeping the board cluttered with abandoned caches." Hashtag unpopular opinion. I don't
Ooh,
necessarily think it is unpopular opinion. I think it's a valid point that if you're doing maintenance on other people's caches, but it's somebody who's not really playing the game anymore, you're just maintaining. You're keeping a cache in a place where somebody could put a new cache if you just let it die its natural death.
let it die. Let it go. Let it go.
There you go. There's a song about that.
Not by the same person who goes to the mall. Monkey Cakes says most hobby and craft stores carry a wide variety of zipper bags in their jewelry department.
No, there you go.
There you go. You don't even have to go online. You can go right into a store. I don't know. Stores don't seem to have much on their shelves anymore. It's not like it used to be.
No, not like the good old days. And everything's changed in the Tri-Cities.
That's right. I could tell you about it.
You could. I'm sure you have.
So, okay. If you feel okay, Land Monkey, you're telling me you typically don't do maintenance on other people's caches. This is what I'm hearing. Maybe you'll change a log sheet.
I will replace log sheets if I happen to have brought them. I don't always remember to bring them with me, to be honest. When I'm packing for a hike, I am not thinking about replacement parts or logs or anything like that. I am thinking about, how do I make sure I'm safe?
Right.
So I'm packing, and updating my first aid kit and making sure my flashlights are charged and making sure my gear, I'm taking the right equipment and gear and food and enough water. I'm focused on, I guess it sounds selfish, but I'm focused on getting me and Mrs. Monkey home safe. And if I come across somebody's cache that isn't in good shape, that's the cache owner's problem to me.
Okay. So let me ask you this. If this cache you're finding is part of a power trail or GeoArt, does that change your perspective on doing cache maintenance?
Not really.
Oh, no.
If there's been a previous arrangement made with the cache owner and they've asked you to go out and do, if you have said to the cache owner, "I'm going to be going out and doing your trail," and or cache's owner, whatever, whichever part of that phrase you pluralize, and you say, "I'm going out to do your trail or your series. Do you want me to, do any maintenance on any of your caches while I'm there?" That's happened. But that would be with permission and with, previous checking in with the cache owner, not so much. Honestly, if I'm doing a power trail or a whole bunch of caches on a Forest Service road or whatever, one's missing, then it's missing. It's a DNF. If it's because maybe it is there and I just can't find it. If I find it and it's busted, I'll just report that it's busted. Yeah.
Okay. So Wet Coaster says we had a CO contact us recently asking if we could do maintenance on his cache since we were going to find it. Okay. Of course we did. The CO dropped off a new container for us to use.
Okay. So in that scenario, I mean, the CO is doing everything except go right out there and do the maintenance themselves. So that's, again, we're talking here about maintenance, and fixing up somebody's cache with communication before you headed out there. So to me, you're just doing a favor for somebody. You've discussed it. That's great. And I've done that, and I'm totally okay with that. I just don't always think about doing that in
Right.
advance.
Now, this kind of, I think, falls into young Keats's problem of perhaps there's too many caches for this cache owner to maintain, or it's too far out
Yeah, could be.
that is having somebody else. So Three Hams also tossed in that McWillie, I don't know McWillie,
It's a cacher from up here, a prolific cache hider from up here in BC.
dropped an entire sack of containers at my house when I told him I was doing one of his trails.
That's awesome.
So, Wet Coaster replies, sounds like he's having us do his maintenance run for him. More than happy to do it. Indeed, Three Hams replies, I feel like I'm reading a story. He's done so much for the local community, he said with a smile. It's time to help him out.
For sure. Yeah, no issues there. And again, if you drop down to Komakino's feedback, 2 comments down there. Yeah. So Komakino says, I've asked ahead of time to replace a power trail cache if any were missing. CO said I could do it if any were missing, and we replaced 3 when we hit the trail. So there you go. Perfect
Nice.
example, right? Like Komakino probably did a little bit of research, saw, there's, maybe a few need maintenance on some of them, or maybe a few DNFs. So it's like, well, hey, CO, I'm going to be doing your trail. You okay if I do some maintenance for you? Most COs will probably say, yeah, please. Thanks, for if they've got a whole bunch or a series or a geo art out in a location. And sometimes it's not so much about having too many out that you can't get out and do the maintenance. But hey, someone contacts you out of the blue and says, can I help you out? You're probably going to say yes. So, yeah.
Yeah. He checked ahead of time and asked.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
CRS 98 says, never be afraid to DNF caches.
Yeah. It happens. It's just part of the game. Can't find them all.
What?
I know. This is a shocking revelation, but it's true.
Coming from you, yes, it is.
I DNF plenty.
I don't know who you are tonight.
I have DNF'd many a cache.
I'm sure. RE54321 tosses in DNF pride or hashtag DNF pride. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. It's going back a ways.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, so yeah, we talked about replacement and helping cachers out. Talked about, so yeah, I guess it's really about doing the right thing. And I think when it comes down to it, Chris, the right thing is just trying to be considerate of other geocachers and whatever scenario that might be that you're in. And yeah, I think it's that easy.
There's some talk there in the chat that I'm not even going to bring up on this show. I'm saving your blood pressure since you've been so nice to me, Land Monkey. I'm going to be nice to you.
Wow, thanks.
And even when you weren't nice to me, I was nice to you. That makes me a better Canadian than you.
No, you're not sarcastic enough.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Although you got that part down. You got the sorry down, so that's good.
Sorry. I don't go to the mall enough.
Yeah, that's a myth.
Okay. Hey.
What?
CRS 98 says DNF Pride. 1,058 and counting. I wanted to hold an event for number 1,000, but COVID.
So hold on. Is that a stat you can look up in your geocaching stats? How many DNFs you found? Or you haven't found? How many DNFs you've logged?
I would assume.
Now I'm going over and looking at my stats now because now I'm curious. Is that where would you find that?
DNF should be a badge of honor.
It should be, but now I'm curious where you would find out how many DNFs you've logged. Everything is like how many finds. Where would you find how many caches you haven't found?
Komakino says you could DNF your own event. Problem solved.
That's funny. All right. Well, hey, live listeners, tell me where you can find your DNF stats. I'm kind of curious about that.
Frylang says, I think you have to use GSAC to get your DNF count.
GSAC or Project GC,
It tells
maybe?
you the number at the top.
The top of what?
I don't know.
Be more specific. The top. There's my
The top.
finds.
The top.
The top. The top of the statistics page. Let's take a look.
No need for GSAC. It's on the logs page. Yes, that's true. It's on the log page, but not how many times you've geocached or how many times you've DNF'd multiple caches.
What? What is the
that
logs?
Tell you the DNF of an individual cache. How many DNFs have been found there?
Hold on. I'm confused.
Oh, or that may be a lackey reviewer feature. Who knows?
That I am
okay.
What?
CRS 98 says GC, yes. Go to your dashboard, then your finds, and then click didn't find it.
Okay, on Project GC is what CRS is talking about. Right? No? Project? Okay, hold on. All right, I'm doing this. I'm following the steps. Go to your dashboard. I went to my dashboard. Go to your finds. Where's finds? I don't see something called finds. Geocaches, recently viewed, logs, drafts, hides. Cache owner dashboard. Hold on. I wasn't in the right place. Hold on. All right.
Cache owner dashboard.
Cache owner dashboard. Hold on. This is making great audio. Go to your dashboard, then your finds. I'm not seeing this. I got the cache owner dashboard is for the caches you own. This doesn't make sense to me. I'm confused. Can you figure this out, Chris?
Well, no. I've
or does he mean it's on Project GC? I'm gonna go to Project GC.
I'm not looking at the chat anymore. Okay.
I can't find this.
On geocaching.com.
Yeah.
Not the cache owner dashboard. Click on logs. Sorry.
Where's logs?
You can go to geocaching.com/my/logs.apx.
Oh, for Pete's
ASPX.
Okay, but I mean,
this is riveting, says Trexer.
You know what?
Poor
Screw it.
monkey.
If it's this difficult, I don't want it.
Main dashboard, left column.
Main dashboard. Okay, so hold on. So if I click on my name up at the top, left column.
On the left side. Logs.
Yeah. Then where? There's nothing that says finds. I've got view profile, logs. Wonders of the world, reach
under geocaches, go to logs.
Geocaches.
Okay, so you go to here. I just found it here.
Logs.
Okay, so there you go. Geocaches recently viewed logs.
Okay, now I found it.
And then at the top,
it's still stupid because it's so hard to find, but it is there. All right.
I only have 90.
Didn't find it. DNF. Does it give you?
Doesn't
give you. Oh, there we go. I have 1,017 DNFs.
There you go.
There you go. Boy, that was a lot of work to get to that.
No, it wasn't a lot of work.
It was for me.
You just couldn't follow the rules.
I couldn't follow the instructions.
Brian Lang says, Ari, take notes. It's stupid because it's too hard to find.
That's right.
Tractor says, I hope you guys do a better job of finding caches.
Well, I just shared that I have over 1,000 DNFs. So what do you think that means?
Okay, folks. I don't know where to go from that. Let us know. We want to know, what do you do when you find cache that needs maintenance out and about? You know what? You can send an email to feedback@cachingnw.com and let us know. Yes, you can.
You can.
So, folks, thank you for taking the time to listen and to tune in, even to Land Monkey looking through his profile page live
Riveting audio.
on the air. I know. So if you enjoyed this episode of the Caching in the Northwest, we're really sorry.
Yeah, folks, of course, at this point, we want to take a moment to thank Land Sharks and Gold Country Geotourism, our corporate Denali level sponsors. Landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. Remember, they are shipping orders daily. And for absolutely amazing geocaching adventures, check out exploregoldcountry.com. Of course, we want to thank all our faithful Denali level supporters, Land Sharks, Gold Country Geotour, Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, and Cachly, the geocaching app. If you want to know more about supporting this show, click that Patreon link on the cachingmw.com website.
Like Fairwood West did.
LG 9000.
T-Sayer.
Genies.
Just finding our way.
Heckling from the chat, it's Trexer Zero.
Kitty West.
And Alarobrick.
RE 54321.
Green words. Oh, that doesn't work as
Shit.
well.
Kennel Barb.
Kev Mac D.
Tick Magnet.
Logwork.
Peach of Washington.
Winos of Seattle.
Ooh. Keats of 94. The old Keats, as we refer
The
to
old
him now.
Keats of 94. There you go. GeoNav Pros.
Ooh. Boomer 365.
Kid Vegas 19.
Team Noltex.
Chris's favorite lunch, gas station tuna.
Boy, let me tell you, I've had memories of that lunch. And UDAC.
And Camp Clan.
On a boat.
The Geo Travelers.
Subway Mark.
Well done, Chris. You're catching on. Chatted with him a little bit earlier this week. It's Limax. Hope you're doing well.
MC3 Cats.
3 hams and a rose.
Oh, there's a 3 going on.
Hmm?
Dora Moore.
Utox. 2 rocks.
GSM times 2.
Broncos fan. 4 life.
Sprouter.
Oh, I just jumped right down, didn't I? And Antaeus.
And Segehov.
And the Seebeck tribe.
And our newest patron, I think that's still true, Korsgat.
Quartzcat. I like that. And Eckerdock.
M-Nerve.
CRS 98, providing helpful advice and encouraging us all to be better people. And Wet Coaster.
B Pendragon. And that's it.
I think that's all. I think we're done now.
I think we're done now. It gets longer all the time.
I think we're alone now.
I've never been on loan.
This podcast
you have
took
to
too
buy me.
long and everyone left us.
Hey, folks, it's time for At Last. Wait, I have a graphic. At Last. There it is. At Last.
Fancy pants.
Listeners ask some things. I gotta keep every time I do it. I gotta edit that graphic. It's too slow coming in. Listeners ask some things, and now we get to answer. If you'd like to ask some things, you know what you have to do. You have to call into 253-693-TFTC, or email your question to feedback@geocaching. No, I did it again. feedback@caching.com.
You can email it to geocaching, but
You can.
Chris Ronan's just going to look at your email and delete it.
No, he won't. He forwarded it to me. He likes me. He's my friend.
Is he?
We have the
Okay.
same first name. Come on.
All right. Hey, before we jump into that, I just want to point out that Trexer has shared that he is watching the show from his tent while holding the phone just perfectly to get data. Now that is dedication to this podcast.
Holy cow, that is dedication.
There you
now,
go.
How tired is your arm?
We'll find out when he disconnects.
When he no longer answers anymore.
There you
And
go.
by the way, he's laughing with you, not at you.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay, so Limax asks this question.
Ah,
Are what is what you're doing now for a living what you wanted to do as a child? Does that make sense? As a child growing up, you thought, I want to be,
oh,
and is it what you're doing now?
nope.
Well, computers weren't a thing when I was a child.
Exactly. Yeah.
So no, I was born in the middle of,
Ages.
the Apollo program. So I wanted to be an astronaut.
Ah,
And apparently now I can be. I just need money.
there you go.
So
Anyone can be an astronaut now.
yeah. It's kind of
Anyone
not the
with-
same, is it?
Anyone with buttloads of money. Uh,
What about you, Land Monkey? What'd you want to be when you grew up?
well, you know what's funny is that the podcast isn't far off from what I wanted to be doing when I grew up. I wanted to be a journalist or a news reporter, and doing the podcast isn't far off it. So I guess in a way it's, but my regular day job, like you, didn't exist when I was growing up. So there's that.
You think about that and you go, well, yeah, that was a huge jump in technology. Well, what about all these guys that open up cell phone repair shops? That didn't exist 10 years ago.
Also true.
There was an industry that was not there and is now considered indispensable.
Yeah.
Well, phones are dispensable, disposable.
But phone repair people are not.
CRS 98 says, I wanted to be an astrophysicist. I ended up being an instrumentation engineer. That's pretty close, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm completely wrong, but it depends on what instrumentation, right?
Like violins and pianos. No? It's not what we're talking about?
No.
Okay.
The speedometer, instrument panel.
Ah.
IHAM wanted to be a bush pilot.
Ooh.
Then my eyesight tanked.
Wow.
So what's stopping you? Keats 94 says, I wanted to be a train engineer. I make screen doors near train tracks. So close enough.
So close. Almost.
So close. Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. That's not how it works, but that's fine.
I'm curious about the bush pilot. What would have prompted IHAM to consider that as a career as a kid, if he knew somebody else who was doing that? Because that's not necessarily, unless you grow up in a pretty rural area, that's not necessarily something that would that you'd be aware of as a kid.
That fits. Yeah. I know a little bit of his story there. So
okay.
I'll let him share it if he wants to. I'm not going to.
Very cool.
Trexer says, I can't see myself doing anything else now.
Ah.
So he's tired and he's ready to go to bed. He can't see himself doing
That's what
anything.
he's talking about. Yeah.
Oh, wait. I may have taken that wrong.
That's awesome.
IHAM says a missionary pilot.
Okay, cool. Good for him. That would have been an interesting career choice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
folks,
did we work our way
Limax,
through it, buddy?
Yes. Limax, thank you for the question.
Indeed. Oh, hey, before you go, there's one more. 3 hams in a row. Just threw one in there.
Oh.
Let's pull that up. We'll read that one, and then we'll close it up there. 3 hams in a row says, I wanted to be an astronomer to observe celestial bodies. 2 years of university and not enjoying the physics and math courses steered me to chemistry instead. So there you go. But,
So you went from viewing really big things far away to seeing really small things close up.
Yes. And calculating how many moles are in a particular solution. I don't know.
Folks,
moles is a unit of measure that comes to my mind from grade 12 chem. I don't know why. That's the extent of it. I'm done.
Yep. Yeah, I seem to remember that too. Grade 12 chem is or 12th grade chem. It's really where I started to take off, and it's like, yeah, no. There's computers. I'd rather work in this.
It's hard.
Brylang has moles in his yard.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, a lot. And you're not able to count them. Folks, thanks for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like the show, click the Patreon link on the cachingNW.com website. If you didn't like the show, let us know what you want us to talk about, and we'll probably do it. In either case, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and more. Subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, even a review. You can always call into 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask us a question, or just replace the log in our cache any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingNW.com. Oh, that's what I just read. It's right there on the screen. I don't know how that happened. Join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific for a live show and chat. This show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, and Jay Kennedy. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2021 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, I ask you to stay tuned for
the after show.
See, that one didn't take so long.
Wow, he may not be here, but he's always with us.
That's right. Chem 12 is all lies.
There you go. Hey, I want to do something we haven't done for a while. When our good buddy Jim is otherwise occupied, and I think he's working tonight. We miss him. We think you guys probably miss him. You might not miss him as much as we do, but I don't know. Maybe you do. But remind you to just send him a hey, we missed you on the podcast message on Twitter.
A little hey ho at
Hey-o.
WITZEND.
WITZEND.
Oh,
Gotcha.
Yeah. Sorry. Z right there in the middle.
Anyhow, yeah, if you got a moment on the Twitters to do that, I think that would be a nice thing to do.
Hey, we got some phtacicises.
Ooh, how exciting. What do we got?
Phtacicize? I don't think I'm going to find them. Oh, here's one. And I found it. CRS 98 says, Phatas. I hit 14K this past weekend at the Lori event in Long Beach, which was well attended by Americans. Sorry, Canadians couldn't attend yet. Man,
fair enough.
CRS 98, congratulations on 14,000 cache finds. Holy cow.
That is a lot of cache finds.
I really wanted to go to that event, but after the podcast last week, that Thursday night, Friday, I took off work from a headache. Saturday, I thought, you know what? I'll just get up and I'll go. And I got up with that same massive headache, and I thought, no, I'm not going.
Sorry to hear that, buddy. That sucks.
So I really wanted to go. I just wanted to show my support for Lori and her family. Well, for Lori's family, really.
Oh, was her family there?
I don't know. I think so. I think her sister was there.
Oh, that's cool.
So her sister's the one who put it on.
Oh, excellent. Okay. I did not know that. It's pretty far away, so it doesn't come up in my notifications. Mm-hmm. And because I couldn't go anyways, I didn't bother really looking at the event, to be honest. But yeah, I'm glad that it went well. I'm glad that folks were able to go. And again, yeah, CRS 98, congrats. That's a big milestone.
Keith says a new vlogging camera. That's what he does. He vlogs. Arrived in the mail.
You make it hard to be nice to you.
Yes. That's, anyway, arrived in the mail for
go on about vlogging, please.
Yes, let's go on about the vlogging. I would like to I want to know how you do this vlogging. So it arrived in the mail for the old Keats 94. Can't wait to shoot some episodes in Nova Scotia. Starting the channel up again soon.
Excellent. Good work. Hope the new camera works well for you, Keats. Wow. There's one from Trexer. I'm not sure. Oh, you're gonna.
Oh, I didn't pop that one up. That one came up on its own magically.
Yeah. Okay, so Trexer has one from a ways back. We'll read that before we jump to CRSs. And he says tomorrow is day 1,000 of his streak. That is a lot of days of caching in a row. He says he's getting up early to enjoy sunrise at a gold country cache on Big Bar Lake. That is awesome. That is a beautiful area to be.
4 digits of a streak.
That's
Is
insane.
something to be proud of.
Congratulations. A few big milestones tonight, eh?
Mm-hmm. Hey, CRS 98 has a big milestone or a vacation that starts tomorrow, going to the Oregon coast, then the northern half of California 1 Adventure Trail. If the stars align, I'll join in from Half Moon Bay next week.
Wonderful.
You know what? We'll have you on the show so you can just show us Half Moon Bay and talk about the California Highway 1 adventure.
Well, either way, would love to hear about it. So
maybe not next week, because if he doesn't connect well, it could be bad.
Yeah, or he can send in a field report for us.
Ooh, please do. Well, you're on the road. You've got nothing else to do. Just call into 253-693-TFTC.
All right. Well, speaking of calling in from the road and big road trips, Brian Lang shared that he did a 4,700 kilometer, that's I think 32 miles, road trip last week to Alberta and finished all the counties in Alberta as identified on Project GC. That's an accomplishment. So congrats, Brian Lang. Now go have a nap.
Are they not counties in Canada?
Some provinces like Ontario has counties, but British Columbia has regions, and so, but just for consistency's sake, Project GC just calls them all counties.
You're right.
That's the subdivisions within a province or state.
Brian Lang says there are 4 more counties in Alberta than Project GC has on their maps.
There you go. So, but at the end of the day, it's however the stats are going to get counted up for your challenge that you're trying to achieve. So that's what you work towards.
That's right. That's a lot of windshield time.
It is a lot.
Yeah, but you know what? That's some of the best views, right?
Yep, that's good stuff. And Brian Lang shared some of his photos, some of the wildlife and beautiful scenery he saw while he was on his trip with some of us. It was really neat to see. So
that was just in the car, the wildlife.
Yeah. And then the passenger seat.
Right.
There you go.
So, folks,
that's why you have to keep your windows rolled up.
That's right. The wildlife will jump right in. Why do I do this? Folks, thanks so much for joining us this evening. And until next week, keep your windows rolled up and get out and get caching in the Northwest.